By law, before your shovel can even hit the dirt for an excavation, you must start by calling Miss Utility at 811. The reason for this is that multiple utilities are installed underground. The last thing you want to do when you're digging is to rupture a gas line, water main, electrical, fiber communication, or any other pre-existing utility. At Southern Air, you can request a project manager assistant to contact Miss Utility for you, no later than 3 days prior to digging. Once the request is made, our safety team is notified of the excavation. Mark your proposed excavation area with white paint. Should another utility see a conflict with your marked area, they will mark where their utilities are or confirm there are none. Private property requires private markers. This is not a substitute for contacting Miss Utility. Respect the utility marks and use them as a guide during your dig. Once you begin to dig, you must remember state laws prohibit the use of mechanized equipment within 2 feet of a marked utility. If you're that close, you must hand dig to expose the utility. In the United States, more than 800 construction workers die every year while on the job. One of the most dangerous types of construction work is trenching, which kills 40 workers each year on average. Workers can suffer death or serious injury within minutes of being caught in a trench cave-in. Each of these deaths can be prevented. Cave-ins can quickly lead to a worker's death. Employers must take specific steps to ensure work can be done in the safest manner possible. It's Southern Air's responsibility to provide you a safe workplace and provide protective equipment. The right type of trench protection saves lives. The following scenarios are based on true stories. 5 workers were putting in a sewer pipe into the bottom of a trench with a ladder nearby to enter and exit. There was nothing in place inside the trench to protect the workers if the walls collapsed. While inside the trench, one side began to collapse. 2 workers were able to climb out using the ladder. The other 3 workers were buried alive in the soil, where they suffocated to death minutes later from the weight of the soil. This accident was 100% avoidable. Employers must follow OSHA rules for trenches to protect their employees. 1 cubic yard of soil can weigh as much as a car, nearly 3,000 pounds. Southern Air policy states protection against cave-ins must be used for all trenches more than 4 feet deep, even though OSHA standard is 5 feet. Before doing any work in a trench, a member of Southern Air's safety team must conduct an inspection to identify and remove any potential hazards. A competent person is trained to recognize hazards in the area and has the authority to take quick actions to eliminate a hazard, even if it means a work stoppage. Inspections are performed at the start of each shift, after rain, or whenever conditions change. The protective systems available to us are sloping, benching, shoring, or shielding. Southern Air treats all soil as type C, which is the most unstable. OSHA requires the walls to be sloped 18 inches out for every 1 foot of trench depth. While effective, this type of sloping may only be used up to 20 feet deep. Anything deeper will require a professional engineer. Let's look at the workers from the original scene who were stuck in the trench as it started to cave in. The trench has been properly sloped and the spoil pile is moved away from the trench. The spoil pile must be at least 2 feet from the side wall of the trench. Spoil piles are the soil removed during the excavation. Shielding is a way to protect workers while they are inside a trench from collapsing soil if a cave-in occurs. Often referred to as trench boxes, a member of Southern Air's safety team will choose the shielding appropriate for the soil depth. A trench box has 2 large plates held apart by 4 horizontal cross members. These shields must be between the sides of the trench and the work area. The shields are strong enough to protect workers inside from a soil collapse. These shields can be 2 feet above the bottom of the trench as long as they can support the entire depth of the trench and there's no caving under or behind the shield. The top of the shield should extend 18 inches above the level of any materials that could cave into the trench. Trench boxes are typically used in open areas but can be used with the sloping methods. Let's see how a trench box could have saved the workers from the beginning of the video. As the workers lay the sewer pipe into the bottom of the trench, they are protected from any possible cave-ins. These examples show the importance of following OSHA's excavation standards to ensure workers are provided with a safe workplace. These types of construction deaths are preventable. The trench cave-in prevention methods save lives. Use them on the job, as it could be the difference between life and death. Key takeaways. Before you dig, make sure to contact Miss Utility. You can do this by calling 811 or working with one of our project manager assistants. Construction workers die every year from trenching cave-ins. Cave-in accidents resulting in the loss of life are 100% avoidable. Consult with your safety team before stepping foot inside of a trench. Excavations must have a member of Southern Air's safety team on site prior to excavating. Southern Air employs the protective methods of sloping, benching, and trench boxes when digging. Anything deeper than 4 feet requires trench protection. Spoil piles must be moved at least 2 feet from the edge of a trench. There's no reason for anyone to die in a trench if the appropriate safety measures are followed.